Only let me do this like I used to do. Hello, whoever is there. I'm on the other side. I'm enjoying this evening. Finally, I get to sit outside. It's been a while. And there's the AC. Yeah, there's a screen. It's like a screen. I am outside. It's a screen that I hung I don't know about 2 months ago, and I like it. Makes me feel like I have a little more privacy. I'm at home in the backyard. I'm trying something different today. All right, we've got someone from the USA. I'm doing good, Furious. I'm doing good. I thought I had plans tonight, but I don't. So I decided to come outside. At some point, I will put the camera on me, but right now, I am relaxing. It was supposed to rain earlier. Well, first of all, there was no rain in the forecast as of yesterday. And then today, about noon, it's said that we were going to have some rain in the next hour, but it never came. All right, Lego is from New Hampshire. Welcome. I don't know where KK is from. You think so, Furious? Why, thank you. I think the sky is always perfect. Always. Always beautiful. Yeah, I researched to see because I go live from my phone. So I researched to see what is a temperature where it starts to get too hot. And the temperature today is like 10 to 15 degrees less than that point. So I thought it would be safe to be outside. Because when I've been outside, it gets too hot for my phone. That's why I wasn't outside. Lego is in Florida. All right. Yeah, I'm in Arizona, so it's 7:09. I mean, it looks like it's going to rain, but we'll see. We shall see. I like to listen to the birds. All right, what about a debrief of your Christian singles night? Did you come across any viable candidates? I have not gone yet, Furious. Actually, there's 2 times a week apparently that they meet. So hopefully I can catch the next one. I hope. I really do hope I find someone. I am so ready to meet someone. Yep. I don't think it was quite the time for me to go that one day because I found out about it I think on Sunday. So I had made the plan to go to it. And then when the night came for the singles night, I had spontaneously done something else that took a little bit longer. Gregory is in Oakland. Oh, Gregory, I don't like people who smoke the zips. Fury says, last time I thought you were actually going. Well, I just hope you don't meet someone weird. Yep, I hope not either. Usually in person, my discernment works really well. I'm glad you appreciate all types of people, Gregory, but I do have righteous judgment. And I choose to not be around folks that do that kind of stuff. What is going on in this app? I'm gonna turn this around now. Hold on. Where's the camera? I'm ready to be on camera. Oh. There we go. All right. I couldn't read very well. That's why I thought I'd flip this around. Gregory says, I'm glad you don't do that. Gregory, I'm glad you don't push that on anyone, but I still choose not to be around it. Because it was humid today, cloudy, my hair is crazy. Yeah, it is. I don't know what I put behind me, but I've got a little makeshift background. Well, how was your day, Furious? Okay, so that singles place that I will be going to, I actually went there before. But I went to the wrong age group that time. Bruno Marsing. Okay. So I'm surprised. It must be, that was like 7 or 8 years ago when I went to that church. And if they're still doing this meetup, it must be kind of like growing and maybe even more involvement. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm chatting with someone right now, but I think we're too far. So I don't think that's gonna work out. I feel so good out here, y'all. And the air is so clean and fresh. Furious says, today I didn't feel like to win anything. That's what I call to Bruno Mars. You didn't feel like you would win? Is that what you're saying? I will say that I used to like Bruno Mars, but not so much anymore. Don't tell me you don't know the Lazy Song by Bruno Mars. Wait a minute, is the Lazy Song with the monkeys? Hello, Pandu. And he was wearing like a flannel shirt. I think I did watch the video. Rizab is from Sydney. Australia? So right now you guys are having winter. And right now I'm in summer. this is new hair growth, so I should be happy about it. But it just drives me nuts. Hey Sus, welcome back. I remember seeing you last time. You have pancakes? The pancake emoji using? Rasab, if you lived here, I would answer that question, but you're not from here. Oh, so you really like pancakes. Fury says you dyed your hair, again. Why'd you do that? Yep, and I'm about to do it again. See, my original idea for time for not dyeing my hair was after my son graduated from high school. But then, as you know, I quit the full-time job and I couldn't afford the extra stuff. So then I said, okay, now is the time to stop coloring my hair. But I don't like how I look. I'm not ready for it yet. I don't like how I look with gray hair. So I think the schedule I'm on is coloring my hair every 3 months. So it will be a few more times until my son graduates. Stitch? What is a stitch? Why, thank you. Jesus, where are you from? Oh, you're saying the last movie you watched. Okay. See, I'm not used to saying that, using that word. Where is it? I thought you took a picture of it. I just have to get used to getting older. Because mentally, I still think I'm young. Oh, okay, so you did mean the last picture you had with Lilo and Stitch. How is it in California where you're at? So that's your real picture of you. You know what? I do have a little bit of vanity that I'm trying to pray away. That's the word, right? I do care a little about what I look like. Not too much, but a little bit, and so I need to pray that away. And I also care about the person that I would be dating, what they look like, and I'm trying to pray that away too, and just worry about their heart and their mind instead of their looks. Oh my, it's 107 where you're at? Oh no, it's nice and cool here compared to that temperature. I think what I was asking, no, I know what I was asking, Jesus. Like, when I look at the news, California looks like a place that I don't want to go to. How do you like the area you live in? I really wanted to do a little bit of vacationing in California this year, and I was like, nope, I can't do it. I'm gonna be honest too. Even when I was younger, as a child, we would go to California to the parts that my dad's family lives in. And I guess it depends on the area. Then it must still be in the car on the dash. I remember going to the store, different stores, and people only spoke Spanish. And I was like, I thought we were in the United States. That's what I'm talking about. And I think it's gotten probably worse since then. If I want to be around, no, let me stop. Let me stop. But I'm glad. I'm glad you live in a nice part of California. Let me. Actually, I'm doing a live, so I don't know if it's in the house or in the car, and I'm not getting up. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Furious says, I love seeing you in a tank top with that Viking hairstyle. uh, okay, you only see me like this at home. I don't go out in a tank top. Well, I think Arizona was also part of Mexico, and it doesn't feel like I'm in Mexico here in Arizona. Furious is especially if you take into account pink. What? Furious, what on earth did you try to say? You know what? I'm just gonna delete it because it doesn't seem appropriate. I don't know what on earth you were trying to say, Furious. You know what? I guess it just depends on what part of any state you live in. You could probably feel like you're not in the United States, and it doesn't matter what state. I'm just glad where I live at, it feels like the United States. Hey, Lady Sky. Oh my goodness. Lady is going there. Well, I was showing my Arizona sky here, but then I flipped the camera onto me. It is so nice out here. I was saying that knowing what you keep under your pillow makes you look even more like a warrior. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. And I don't keep it under my pillow. That's why I'm like, what on earth is he talking about? Alright, Lady is just kidding. Lady, I am doing great. It was rough at work because, Lady, I'm going through my first um, terminating a lease. My first time. And it was rough. Oh, tell me what's going on, Lady. I'm sorry to hear you're not doing okay with the sad face. I'm sorry, I'm laughing back at Furious's comment. I have to have different emotions when I'm reading the comments. Sorry, you guys. Been having pain in your elbow. Okay, lady. Do you have castor oil? Put some castor oil on it. Maybe wrap like gauze and saran wrap. Try that. And just because castor oil is a miracle oil. Castor oil. Yes, Furious wrote it down. That's what I use a lot. Everywhere. Around my eyes, on my cuticles, on my... If I get a bruise, I put castor oil on it, and it goes away so fast. If I feel pain, I put the castor oil on. At nighttime before I go to sleep. Sometimes I do it in the morning as well. I put castor oil in my shampoo. Where else? How else do I use castor oil? I put it on my heels so they're not dry. Search on Amazon. I believe the brand that I buy is Heritage Store. Let me pull it up on my Amazon. They might have it at Walmart or Walgreens. Let me pull it up. There's just so many. You can even ingest it. I don't, but you could. Let me look at my order history. Okay, yeah, this is the one that I buy. Can you see that? That's the one that I buy by Heritage Store. Because I don't like pain medicine. So I use this anytime I feel aches and pains. But as long as I'm exercising, like I work out every morning, I don't feel any aches and pains as long as I am working out. I know it's backwards, but it's Heritage Store organic castor oil. Yep, it's really castor oil. This, you can get different sizes, okay, but I bought the big size myself. So it could cost $15 to $30 just depending on the size that you get. I've seen Walmart carry this brand a few times in certain products because I also use other products from that brand. I don't know, Furious, how it's made. It's from something natural. I don't know. Let me see what it says. It looks like a bean of some sort. Yep, I got a text message. My child is messaging me. He wants me to do him a favor, and I was like, nope, I'm doing a live stream. So you gotta come down. He is too spoiled, y'all. If I wasn't on the live stream, I would have done what he asked. How is your weather, Lady Sky? I wonder, does that affect your elbow? Sometimes people, when they have aches and pains, they relate it to like cloudy weather. I've never heard that one before. Hot, humid, and muggy. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't even know. We don't really have much moisture here, but it's humid for being Arizona. So I was hoping to go to a mall, a store, and try out different perfume scents before I ordered. Remember the other night I was talking about looking at perfume dupes. So there's two that seemed like had the notes and scents that I would like, but they're inspired by a real name brand, I guess I'll say. And so I was trying to get to the store to smell the real thing before I buy the dupe. But it didn't happen today. Hey, Gabe. Yep, that's what Lady Sky wrote. Furious as I thought that after the Castors massacre by Euro-American trappers in the 18th, hunting them would be banned. I don't know. You like the smell of perfumes? Do you have any favorites, Lady Sky? I'm looking for a summer scent. I feel like the scents that I currently have are not for summer. Don't ask me. I don't need it. I really don't. I could make do with what I have. But I figured since I'm ordering my son those dupes, why not order myself some? In one order to save shipping and all that. Okay, I'm going to share with whoever is here. I'm going to share with you something that happened to me Friday at work. I didn't want to say anything. I wasn't sure how I felt about it. but now I'm just gonna say it. So let me start with, okay, favorite smell of perfume, but they do smell nice. Oh, you don't have a favorite. Okay, so it all started, we have to go back to Thursday. Lady says her perfume smells like old granny. I don't like old granny scents. This is what I learned about myself. If the perfume is a dark color, it's a no-go for me. Even if it's like a medium color, like if you could say light, medium, dark, the liquid color, medium is still a no-go. I like scents that are light colored. That's one thing I've discovered about myself. Ladies, are you serious? Gabe says back to the story. So there's a person, so if you guys don't know, I work at an apartment complex. And one of the tenants has a guest that I know for sure was staying over in their apartment. Now this is affordable housing apartment, so there's a lot of rules. I think a lot more than a regular apartment complex. Well, maybe not necessarily, but anyways. So this particular tenant cannot ever have anyone spend the night because their household is maxed out for the number of square footage and the number of rooms. So, true facts. Who's rambling, Gabe? Furious says, I just looked it up. Castor in French is beaver, so I So I finally confronted the guest who I know has been staying at least 1 month in this apartment. I was like, what is your name? And she's like, why? I said, because you're here every day. I need to know who's here. Because I do. I should know. We have to do background checks on everyone that's there. And she's there every day, so yes, I should know. And I'm pretty sure she gave me a fake name. But she went on about her business. I went into the office because it was right before I even opened the door to the office. And then that guest, that the tenant, she called me. She's like, why did you ask her name? I said, because I have the authority to know. And then things went on and she was talking about her car, her tenant's car. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought you said, she said something like she parks her car here. So then I went on to say, well, I thought you told me that was your car the other day. She's like, why does it matter? I said, because if it's your car, you need to have current Arizona registration. And she hung up on me. Well, the next morning when I went into the office, there was a shoebox right at the front door. It didn't have any, like, it didn't have a name written on it, nothing. So I pushed the box away because sometimes kids leave their stuff randomly around the apartment, the grounds. And I went into the office and I texted the maintenance person who was helping out the day before. I said, hey, did you leave a shoebox at the front door? And he's like, no, what's in it? I said, I'm not opening it. So then he was curious, and it so happens that his ride home, he was able to pass where I worked at. So he stopped by after work and he looked in there. I wasn't there because it was already the end of my day and I was actually out school shopping. I wasn't anywhere close to home. He said, it was the head of a catfish. And I'm pretty sure it was a tenant that I had had a conversation with the day before, because we were in their storage room, and they are the only people that I could visibly, clearly see fishing rods. Okay, let me read. Lady says 2 more apartments are now empty, so we now have 8 apartments. The people are leaving for good. Oh, wow. Gabe says he got hired. He starts Monday. Oh, nice. Congrats, Gabe. Yep, read your contract well so you're aware of everything. Lady says we had 5 apartments empty and now we have 8. Oh my goodness, lady. There's only 1 empty one here where I'm at right now. Yes, very creepy, Furious. And I was like, something told me it wasn't going to be pretty. Hey, Mo Breeze. I actually thought it was going to be like a snake or lizards or something. So I emailed my supervisor and I told her, this is what happened. This is who I think it was. If there is a box at my door again, I'm calling the police. And so you know what she told me, my supervisor? She supervises a lot of other apartments. She said that was the worst story she ever heard out of the 20-some 30 years she's worked for that company. I was like, oh, it would just have to be me. Yep, it was creepy, Furious. And we were able to document, that they had this unauthorized tenant. They were given, I think, 10 days to provide proof that that tenant lives somewhere else. She didn't provide it. So the next step was to terminate. So she has 30 days. Well, now she has 28 days to move out. And all I can say is God is good. God is great. Gabe says, how good is the surveillance camera systems in the apartments complex? There aren't cameras outside. I could put some inside my office, but the windows and everything get closed up, so it would only have footage. Okay, so today, speaking of cameras, today I had to inspect all the apartments, and they had fire alarm checked, filters replaced, and bug spray. She was recording me. I'm surprised she even let me in. I was like, okay. When I realized she was recording, I'm like, oh, you're recording us, because there was 3 of us that walked in. She's like, yeah. I said, okay. We had a few words, but she tried to say that God does not like ugly. I said, exactly. She's the one always lying and cheating. You know what I mean? So I just prayed, and I'm like, Lord, you are right and just, and I trust that you will handle the situation. And then she said, there's no one in here. I said, well, of course. You knew we were coming, because they get a 48-hour notice when we're coming in. And then that was about it. Furious says, Lady Sky, instead of watching Vanessa say creepy stuff, try finding a gel pad to rest your elbow on. Are you talking like a cold compress, Furious? You're probably holding your phone in a way that's not helping your elbow heal. Furious is being nice. and offering some advice. Hello, Kamrul from Bangladesh. I am from the USA. I know, right, Gabe? This is not your regular apartment complex, but I know now. Now I know the difference between apartment complexes, because I'm actually, when I did live in an apartment that was not affordable housing, there was no cameras there either. I don't think they'll ever put cameras out, to be honest. The person before, she talked about that being a problem too. It's starting to get dark. Fury says, no, I'm talking about the thing filled with gel, like those ergonomic mouse pads. Oh. Yeah, if Lady Sky is still here, do you have your phone like propped up on something, or are you holding it? You know what? I took down my Christmas lights. So I won't have any lighting. But I could shift over a little bit more when it gets darker. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad where I'm at. But once she is out, that'll be one down. And then I can start focusing on the next problem, tenant. You know, taking them down one at a time, because I don't think I could go through, have several mad at me at once. Do you know what I mean? Having dead animals dropped off to you is a legitimate gripe to ask. Look at it this way, the worst head office can do is say no. Well, I think me telling her that was there prompted her to say, okay, it's time to terminate. But the process was already started. You know what I mean? It was already started, but they're enforcing it, and so I don't know. I'm just gonna pray for the best. It kind of was like, it was creepy, but it didn't scare me. Hey Gun Show, welcome to my live stream. It was nice that you joined my Bible time this morning, Gun Show. Furious says, you took down your Christmas lights in July. Well, they weren't my real Christmas lights, they were just the white lights that I bought at Christmas time to kind of give me some lighting in my patio. I took those down. All right, lady. Thanks for letting me know. But yeah, I believe that BBS, be right back. Be back soon. Be back soon is BBS. Okay. Okay, yeah, so even though that tenant was recording, I probably should have kept my mouth shut. But you guys, I'm telling you, I don't know how to keep my mouth shut. So when she said, oh, is there anyone guest here? So I responded, of course not, because you knew I was coming. Like, I wanted to make sure that was in her recording. But technically, she can't go to court until after she's actually out. So there's like a whole month. Patience, yes. Patience. Furious says, okay, you left them up for that Ariba. Smart move, but it isn't in a bit lacking in color. I was like, what is Furious talking about? But he's talking about the lights. Yeah, it's the clear lights that I had out here. I'm trying to get into the light. Oh, it is so nice and breezy right now. And then somebody else got upset because I told her we needed to go into every single bedroom. And I said, last month, I let it go. And so we need to go in there this month. So she's like, yeah, you guys are going in there, but now you can't go in the other one. I was like, I'm just going to write that you refuse. She's like, I'm not doing this with you today. I'm like, neither am I. I'm writing down that you're refusing that room to be inspected and sprayed. And she slammed the door on me when we left. Y'all, I don't think I can do this much longer. Somebody else was upset too because she didn't want us going to spray in her room, and I was like, we have to. She's like, you guys haven't done it before. I was like, well, I am learning everything slowly because there's a lot to learn, and now it's got to get sprayed unless you have a doctor note that says otherwise. Yeah, I'm gonna keep getting tested. So she didn't quite slam the door on me, but she closed the door abruptly behind me. And she's like, well, no one else ever did it before. And I was like, well, it's gonna start now. And technically I did go to training last month, so I could be like, I just like verified and confirmed all of the stuff that I have to do. Was the illegal tenant disturbing other residents? Yes, Gabe. I heard from at least 3 other tenants who were brave enough to come to me, right? They would be like, oh, they were in a fight, or they're yelling in the middle of the night, or they're in the parking lot taking up all the parking spaces and being a bully, or different things like that. And I was like, well, you guys need to call the police when that happens. And I was going to the police station and I was pulling reports. I was like, did you have any calls for this particular person? First of all, I was like, did you have any calls in general, but specifically for this person at the apartments? And there wasn't really anything. So I needed to find something that I could witness myself to be able to document that, which has led to their termination. What do you mean, Gabe? Is this all because of a man? She's a lesbian, so there's no man in the picture. But she has a lot of traffic. After I'm not there, I've heard there's a lot of traffic. It's different women. And I've seen her go in and out of her storage throughout the day, and I'm like, why is she in the storage? One day she said she had COVID. That's why she was in the storage unit. I'm like, oh yeah, I really believe that. I'm that dumb to believe that. The apartment drama, for sure. So now, see, the thing about it is when people started telling me that there was fighting, there was yelling, that they would take up the parking spaces, that she only had a right to one parking space. Her guests should park on the guest side, you know? But when I started hearing things like that, that is what really caught my attention, because if I was living there, I wouldn't want to have a neighbor like that. And I was able to do something about it, y'all. Because when something's happening like that in my neighborhood, I call the police. Which thankfully, my neighborhood was pretty good until recently when the new people moved in across the street. They have a lot of drama. Anybody else have problem neighbors? That's what I'm going to put in my question. Okay, now it's getting a little bit warm. You would think it's cooling down. The nice thing is, whenever it came to my attention that she had someone actually living there, I had a witness with me. And she verbally said, I'm staying here for a few days and I'm leaving Friday. But she never left Friday. That was like 4 Fridays ago. 5 Fridays ago. I guess it's their fault. If she's living there illegally, she should be trying to stay unnoticed. Exactly. That's what I would do if I was in that situation. But you know what they were doing? She was like out in the obvious trying to like stick it to me, in a sense that I couldn't do anything to them. She was literally moving her clothes from her car, the guest was, and putting them into that apartment, like literally right in front of me every day. And we were going to tow the guest vehicle because she was parked illegally and had a trailer. She did, for like one day, they decided to move the car and the trailer, well, maybe a week, on and off. They decided to completely keep the car and trailer off the parking lot and parked it down the road. But then they decided, oh, we're not going to hide it anymore. So they left the trailer parked down the road, but would bring the guest car, and it's been parked every day in the parking lot. Do you guys get bored of this, of my stories? I understand that sometimes people are down on their luck and need a place to crash. Yeah, and there's a process. If she needed a place to stay, she needed to put in a guest permission, where it gives us the guest's name and all that, and it's on the folder or file so that it's not a problem. But she didn't go through that route either. Yep, exactly, Gabe. Exactly. It's like you think you're so smart trying to lie to me when I'm not dumb. I am not dumb at all. Which is so crazy. Like, why would someone lie? Why do people lie? It's obvious it's a lie. So why even do that? Oh, goodness. There are some really good tenants there, though. And they understand. They'll check on me. You doing okay? Nobody's messing with you. Of course, I'm not going to tell them, right? But it's nice that they come in and check on me. Oh, goodness. What time is it? Oh, it's 8 o'clock. All right. What else can I talk about? Well, this morning's scripture that I read, it talked about us being, what was the word? That we can judge. But what was the word they used? Basically, we can have righteous judgment. And so that's what I do my best. I'm excited. Mondays to Fridays, 7 to 5. Very well paying, plus to pay for my heavy equipment training. Oh, nice. It is always exciting to start something new. I do agree with that. Hey, Bombastic. How's it going? I'm trying to, like, not necessarily be in the spotlight here, in the light. But I'm here. Outside. I'm doing good. I was sharing an update with my nasty tenants today. How are you doing? Oh, you just woke up from a nap. Oh my goodness. What is your schedule, Bombastic? Oh my goodness, I'm so oily from today's weather. Yeah, because I would just stay asleep if I took a late nap. You guys, I need to go to the restroom. I had a lot of watermelon, but I'm going to leave you guys with, yeah, I'll just be right back. No, I'll tell you about it, Bombastic, when I come back, okay? Okay, I'm back. Let me turn on the camera. Okay, I'm back. So today was the monthly inspections of the apartments. I didn't think number 9 would let us in because she has, when the notice was given, she's got 30 days to vacate. So she was there. She was recording me and the 2 other people and saying that God does not like ugly. And I was like, exactly. And I'm thinking about all the lies and cheating she has done. And yet she has the audacity to tell me that. And then she's like, who's here? Who's in the apartment? I said, so I looked at her on the camera. I said, of course, you knew we were coming. Because, they have a 48-hour notice. And then I was like, oh, Lord, should I have said anything when I left? But I don't know how to keep my mouth shut sometimes, y'all. I felt like that would be better, though, for me to speak up if she was going to use it later in court, that they needed to understand that it wasn't like a spontaneous visit, that it was scheduled. So hopefully that's the last inspection I have to do with her, because she had damage in there. So I'm taking pictures while she's recording me take picture of her damage. I'm like, okay, how does this look good on her at all? Because her apartment is kind of like, she doesn't have a lot of stuff, but you could see it's mistreated and there's holes in the wall. She breaks the door handle somehow. Her kids write all over the walls. And it's like, you're not doing yourself any favor by recording this. Bombastic. I didn't even think about that one. But everything is done. She can't change it because we follow the proper steps leading up to this point. Yeah, she'll have to pay for it. It will come out of her security deposit, first and foremost, and then whatever balance is left, she's got to pay. And if she doesn't pay, then it probably shows up on her record. No, he is not. And she had the audacity, because he's right next to her, to say, oh, he lives across the street now. I'm thinking, you should be worrying about yourself, not about him. And that's not true, because he still parks every day in the apartment complex, and I've seen him walk out. Sometimes he parks across the street, which is another apartment complex. But most times he's parked inside the parking lot. It's like you just keep digging a hole for yourself. I'm thinking about that tenant. She just keeps making it worse. And before we went to her apartment, another tenant got mad because I said, I'm writing that you are refusing to let us go into one of the bedrooms where we need to check the fire alarm, where we need to spray, where I need to inspect, right? 3 reasons to go in there. She slammed the door on me when I walked out. Well, she ran, I'm saying running, but I don't know if she ran, to the nasty tenant that is in the process of being terminated. And I don't know what she was telling her. And I was like, you know what? These people stick together. You can tell who, like the trouble people are. They hang out together. So I noted it in my notes. You don't want people in either. I'm sure it's not cool at all. I've never experienced that, but I'm sure it's not cool. Birds of a feather flock together. Well, that other tenant is going to be next on my list. I can only tackle one at a time. I guess it made for an interesting day. Oh, I can take down my sign. Whatever. Mo Breeze had a good day. All right. Mo Breeze, I thought you were from New Jersey, but you said you're in Brooklyn. Were you affected by or know anyone that was affected by the flooding? Almost. Uh, it was kind of embarrassing because it was new people helping me today. It was a maintenance person from another apartment, and it was a new spray person. And it was embarrassing, but they're like, "Oh, um, the spray guy." He's like, "I hope everything goes, well for you." And then the new maintenance person, she's like, "This is how it is. You gotta just stand your ground." Oh, you got heavy rain. Yeah, every day I've been watching the news. I try to, and I see what's happening everywhere else. Are you in Brooklyn because of the rainbow breeze, or it's not related? Oh, wow. Has that ever happened before, Maurice? Is it common for there to be a lot of rain and flooding? I think there's a plane back there. Mm, that is so weird how the flooding is just happening. I'm glad you took care of your Fortnite and Lady Sky. You have a lot of static in your mic. Oh, do I? I wonder if it's because I'm outside. That's the only bad thing about being outside too is the sound gets worse. But I like being outside. Mm, okay. Where's my phone? There it is. Maybe it's time for me to end my live then if my connection isn't good. I'm outside. Yep. I'm outside. Mm. All right, you guys. I do hear my The weather is good. The weather is breezy and nice. The weather is breezy and nice. I'm listening to myself. Yeah, maybe this is just time for me to end this live. If it's staticky, that has to be annoying on your guys' end. I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed night. Thanks for hanging out with me. You want a barbecue right now? Yeah, I send y'all peace and know that Jesus Christ loves you the most. See you guys next time. Good night.